So we're out on the golf course today and we're going to take a look at this, the RedTiger rangefinder. Now, before I get into this review, I'm going to just let you know I have reviewed an absolute ton of rangefinders that are all kind of in this price point and category. You can see here I've got the Millisea, I've got Bushnells, I've got lots of different types of rangefinders, and in this kind of cheaper price point they all have very similar characteristics, and I'm just going to show you a few things. So first of all, let me give you a detailed look of this rangefinder. We have a slope adjuster, which is the only ones I really use now. If a rangefinder hasn't got a slope setting on it, I don't usually do it, and this one has simply on and off, and that's important because if you're in competition you need to turn the slope off. And what that basically does is if you're hitting, let's say, from an elevated tee down to a pin, it will tell you the distance to the flag but also the actual distance with the slope. So it might be 150 yards to the pin, but if you're 10 yards high then it might only be 140 yards, so you need to choose the right club. We also have two buttons on the top. The one there simply switches it from yards to meters, and then the red one is to lock onto the pin and to get your actual range. So this is a USB charging one. You just charge it there, so you don't need to worry about batteries, and it also has a focus here, which is important. My eyesight's terrible and I have to adjust the focus on all my rangefinders. Other than that, not much else to say. It has a magnetic clip there, so you can put that onto a cart or a trolley and the magnetic will just stick. But like I say, a lot of these rangefinders, you'll find that everybody reviews all seem to either look the same or have the same characteristics, and maybe a lot of them are manufactured in the same place, I'm not sure. But this one by RedTiger is a popular one on Amazon, and I've also seen a lot of people playing with it. So we're going to test it here out on the course. This hole is 416 yards, so it's not actually a hole I would use a rangefinder on, but I did want to just check and see if it actually will get all the way to the flag. So it's 416 yards. Again, I can see through the rangefinder, but it's slightly blurry, so I've just adjusted the focus at the end, and I can clearly see the flag. I'm just going to press lock, and it's locking onto the trees at the back, so it's saying 445 yards, and I know the flag is probably 20 yards before that. I'll try once more. Okay, so it's got it at 419, so it did actually lock onto it, but at 400 yards it is going to be shaky, and I don't know any rangefinder that will get the yardage from 400 yards. In fact, let me just try my good old trusty Bushnell and see if that can pick it up. And again, this is picking 445 yards. So again, this isn't locking onto the pin, it's locking onto the trees at the back. So let's take a few shots and we'll get a little bit nearer, and then we'll see how accurate this is. We'll compare it to the Bushnell. But I just wanted to make this review because, like I say, a lot of these rangefinders that you'll get are all very, very similar. I mean, the Millisea and this RedTiger one, they pretty much look the same. They both have slope setting on, they both have lock on pin, they both have angle measurements. So yeah, most of these in this price point have all the same features on. So let's get through a few holes and we'll do some measurements from nearer the pin. Okay, so you can see the drive there, pretty much centre of the fairway. I thought it was a little bit left, but it's actually turned out right in the middle, and you can see the flag in the distance, yellow flag. So we're just going to see how far we've got. 197, so a reasonable drive there, and the trees at the back 221. So once you get in within 200 yards range, it is pretty easy to lock on the pin. When you do scan, you simply press the button, press it once and you hear beep beep and it's locked on the pin, and if you want to scan it around, you can scan like that, and it's easy to switch it with the black button to meters as well. So it's locking onto the pin very well. Again, just do it. Yeah, dead easy to lock onto the pin. So I'd say the only difference I've found with these cheaper range finders is the display. Sometimes the display is a little bit thin. It's not bold and stand out like it does in a Bushnell. The display is, I'd call it a little bit weak. It's clear, but it's very thin graphics, very thin lines. So if you have poor eyesight, it's a little bit too thin for my liking, but it does the job. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty accurate. I'm just gonna scan around now. There's some trees just in front of me there. They are 19.2 yards, trees at the side, 21.8. The trees behind me, 22. So it's pretty good. It does exactly what it says. I just wanted to make this video to just point out, like I say, a lot of these rangefinders in this price range are all very, very similar. So it might be personal preference, but you know, if you want the RedTiger one, it's pretty good.